Hello, this is Kip Twitchell. I'd like to continue with episode 2, part 2 of the LDS BSA LDS dictionary, a dictionary made for Scouters, Boy Scouts of America volunteers, and members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In this segment, we'll talk about the stake, council, and district organizations. Starting definitions. For Scouters, a stake is a geographic division of church containing approximately 5,000 members. There are about 3,000 stakes worldwide. In Scouting, there's a concept called a district, but in the church there is not a district equivalent. Each stake is composed of wards, which is a congregation, geographic division of the stake. On average, there's about 8 congregations per stake. A branch is a very small congregation. Sometimes both are generically called units. Within each ward or branch, there's a quorum or class. Boys are grouped by age, either in what's called the Aaronic priesthood for boys, 12 or older, or in the primary for boys 11 or younger. Almost all church units, whether they're a ward or a branch, sponsor a pack and a troop at a minimum. For members of the church in the Scouting organization, besides the National Office of Scouting, the Scouting is divided up into councils. It's an administrative body chartered to be responsible for Scouting in a designated geographic area. There's about 300 councils in the U.S. currently. Each council is divided into a district. There are 2 to a dozen districts per council, really. Chartered organization is any organization that has applied for and received a charter to operate a BSA scouting unit. And then a unit is the entity that conducts scouting for a chartered organization. It consists of the registered youth members and registered adults. It can be a pack, a troop, team, crew, or ship. Next, let's look at the organization charts for both of these organizations. We'll go through each side of this. The organization for the church is on the left. The organization for scouting is on the right. Again, this is at the stake or district level for these 2 organizations. For the stake presidency is responsible for all church operations in the stake. Typically, one counselor in the stake presidency is assigned responsibility for youth. He sees that it's functioning and he maintains the relationship with Boy Scouts of America at the district or council level. Below the stake presidency, there are 12 representatives that are called high counselors, and each of them reports to the stake presidency and has relationships to the wards. Typically, there's a high council advisor for the young men and the primary presidencies. And both of these advisors are part of what's called the Stake Aaronic Priesthood Committee. In addition to the high counselors that also have other administrative responsibilities besides just young men in primary, there is dedicated presidencies for the young men and for the primary. The young men, again, are boys ages 12 and older, whereas the primary presidency is responsible for boys ages 11 and younger. On the scouting side, the council is headed up by what's called a council key 3 individuals that work as a team together. The key 3 is always composed of a council president. He's an elected volunteer, and he is the head of the council, has the most authority in the council. He's supported by a commissioner who is a volunteer. The commissioned volunteers are specialists in scouting. There's also a full-time professional assigned to scouting, the scout executive. So the highest paid authority in scouting in a council is the scout executive. Below the council president and the commissioner and scout and the executive staff, there are additional volunteers that function for running the council operations. As we said earlier, in scouting there's also another administrative level called the district. The district has a mirror of the council in that it has a district key 3. It has a district chair who is an elected volunteer. And it also has commissioners who are specialists in scouting. Then there is the district executive, who is a paid professional for scouting. Underneath the district, there's typically a set of committees that will interact directly with the units. These committees include training programs, roundtables, and other kinds of activities. Underneath the district commissioner, there are assistant district commissioners and unit commissioners, and each unit, whether it's a pack, a troop, or a team, or a varsity crew, is assigned a unit commissioner to help them understand how scouting should work and make them proficient at using scouting. So when it comes to the council and district and the stake organization of the church, there are a number of similarities. A stake is like a council or a district. There's a stake president, and he is like the council president. The counselors in the stake presidency are either the council or district commissioners or the professionals for in the scouting organization. High counselors could be thought of as assistant district commissioners or unit commissioners, because high counselors are assigned to each unit in the stake to oversee and help nurture them. The stake young men and the stake primary presidency are much like unit commissioners as well, but they also can do functions like the combination of district training and program committees as well. A presidency is like a key three. A ward is a chartered organization. In the church, remember that a unit is called a ward, whereas in scouting, a unit is an individual pack, team, crew, or troop. There's a biannual priesthood leadership meeting, which is much like a round table or basic training. There's annual ward conferences that are like Fast Start, basic training, or another training meeting. There's a monthly high council visit to the unit. That would be very much like a unit commissioner visit. So in summary, there's many similarities between the functions of a stake and a council or district, including focus on training leaders and organizational program activities for larger group participation. Similar to unit commissioners, high counselors and stake young men and young primary presidencies do not have authority to direct units to take specific actions. The bishop, the head of the individual unit, as we'll talk about in the next part, is responsible for all staffing decisions in the unit. There are a few differences, though. Priesthood is considered much more hierarchical. Aaronic priesthood quorum presidents report to bishops, and bishops report to stake presidents. Stake presidents, bishops, quorum presidency have what are called priesthood keys, which make them accountable for decisions. So counselors give input, but when decisions are made by one holding keys, members of the stake or ward are expected to support and implement those decisions. Thus, while the stake president has autonomy to make decisions in her stake, a council president really doesn't. The council president is the chairman of the board, but the board is the governing body of the council. In the next part of this series, we'll talk about the ward and unit scouting organizations.